We're ready?
You're on.
Hey, y'all. Sunday again, 3 o'clock. Well, ish.
3:08. We went to city school all day.
Yeah, we went to city school. James Williams,
Lonnie Malone.
not necessarily political. We're going to do something about the community today. It's kind of cool. We're going to talk about security. School starts Monday, I think, right? Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Yep, always.
Security is very important. What we got going on in the world today, so we're going to kind of tackle that. But before we start, I had a cool time for Joe Lockett yesterday.
He cheated on NNP, ladies and gentlemen. Just say what you said.
I moonlit.
He moonlit.
I moonlit. But it was kind of cool, man, and just hear things from a different perspective. But
everybody's trying to take James Williams away from NNP. Y'all can have him. He's for sale.
He don't care. I'm cheap too, man. I'm real cheap. But it's not about, again, the pastor that went to see the president again. My issue, and I say the same thing I said there. It's not about him going. It's about him going empty-handed. And also having a chance to finally tell the president of the free world the truth. Because you're a pastor. That means you have a integrity clause. It kind of comes with that thing, right? So you had an opportunity to tell this guy the absolute truth, and you didn't take it. So that was my problem with him. You can't tuck your tail and run now. You're going to have to just stand up and fight it. One thing I'm working on, and I challenged Joe, and I'm challenging you now while I got you here, but I told you this months ago. We're going to pull the clergy and the community together. And what we're going to do is we're going to put them on a level playing ground. Usually pastors are used to standing over you and dictating to you and telling you what you need to do to live a better life. Well, I think it's time for them to listen to the community and listen to the needs and the wants of the community, because they say they do prison reform, but what he was saying about prison reform, I know he's not even taking into account rehabilitation, because that's a part of prison reform. You got people out here who probably have kids whose father's been in prison 15 years, so that's another mental issue you have to deal with. So prison reform is holistic. It's not just going down there and preaching the gospel, walking out and saying, okay, hey, I did my part. It is way more than that. You want to add in, man? I'll get off my soapbox.
No, I'm going to let you have that. I didn't know anything about anything. I'm just learning as everybody else do.
You just learning?
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Well, they said he went twice.
Who did? Man?
The pastor. Yeah, he went twice.
Empty-handed. And Katrina, this is...
So that was just really...
Bill Prosser. He's with the Patriot Service Group.
Well, tell him who he is. Go ahead, you do it.
No, he can introduce themselves. Somebody's already asking who is he.
That's why I want you to do it today. You see how hard he is to work with, ladies and gentlemen. But we make it work. Bill Prosser.
Introduce yourself, sir.
Bill Prosser.
Hey, afternoon, everybody. I'm glad to be here. I'm Bill Prosser. I'm the president and director of Patriot Services Group. We are a security services provider in Birmingham and throughout Alabama and abroad.
When they say security, let's tell them what we mean by security. Because you're a military guy.
Absolutely.
Right?
27 years of service to the United States Navy Reserves. When it comes to security, we provide armed guard security, unarmed guard security, personal protection security, and anybody who needs security.
In light of what's going on in the schools, and we're having kids taking guns to schools. I hear some crazy legislation they're trying to propose, giving teachers guns. We've just had, so being a security expert,
right?
What would be your advice on security in schools?
Well, all the schools have courtesy officers or school resource officers already. Most of them do. Some of them don't. And, if you don't have that, you've got to have some sort of security. You've got to have plans and programs in place to protect not only the schools, but the teachers and the resources itself.
Absolutely. A little bit about you, because I'll jump around, but just let's tell them a little bit about who is Bill Prosser and what made you a security expert.
Well, I've been doing security for roughly 27 years with the United States Navy. Been deployed to Afghanistan twice and abroad. I believe in safety and security and foremost before anything else. This day and age, this world is something else. You could say it's going to heck in a handbasket, and I guess that would be easy and brief instead of me saying what it would really mean. Right. But there's a need for security, and it's going to evolve more and more if we keep on going the way we're going.
Who would be some of your clients? I mean, who would be some of the people that would actually just need your services?
Department stores, those after hours who need fire watch as apartment complexes, based on their security needs. Some places, like industrial facilities, may not have us in place right now, but when a fire starts, per insurance regulations, they have to have that in place. So they bring us in to provide that type of security to prevent the fire from spreading, and we sound the alarm in the event of the emergency, call the fire department, and then call the authorities at hand involved with the business. Department stores, we go throughout Alabama assisting places like At Home, AutoZone, there's Victoria's Secrets, Bath and Body Works. There's a major theft going on, unfortunately, with the AutoZones throughout the state of Alabama.
Really?
And we are assisting with that under another contractual agreement that we choose not to discuss with who we work with.
Absolutely.
But they're hitting them throughout Alabama. They're hitting throughout the United States. And this is something that's happening that's not safe at all. So after the event happens, we are being brought in to provide armed guard security to prevent anything from happening further out.
We have a question, Anne-Marie Linnea Brown. Are you APOS and certified armed security officers?
We are not. We are not APOS because we are not police officers, but we are certified by the state of Alabama, ASRB, which is Alabama Security Regulatory Board. All of our officers have to go through some sort of training in regards to the ASRB, and that's how we actually are able to be security officers. We go through a vetting process, basically.
And we also, I'm Teresa Altrin.
Oh yeah, join in, Teresa. Y'all, that's
I was
Teresa.
just
We're
going to
sorry.
say that we also do private detail stuff, like jewelry escorts, as far as when a big shipment's coming in or something of that nature. We're in plain clothes. We are carrying weapons, and we'll pick them up, transport them wherever they need to go, things like that. Le'Veon's one of the jewelers that we work with. Also, we do events for tough things, like when you're going to fire 200 or 300 people. Maybe the executives have to have us assist. In fact, William did a active shooter who was called in on an active shooter situation where the CEO had fired someone, and they were had threatened to come back and shoot the place up. And so it's got to be spot ready. You've got to be ready to go in an instant. And we've been contacted by other organizations for advice about how to deal with active shooters and things of that nature.
I know this is a pretty broad question, but I mean, how would you identify someone that you're thinking, okay, something's about to happen with this guy?
That's a good question. It's a tough question because it's all about, one, people would say we're stereotyping,
Absolutely.
and two, you'd have to be kind of shady and be somewhat out of your mind, so to speak. And sometimes there's people who are out of their mind who are very calculative and able to carry out whatever their plan might be.
Right.
Sometimes you just don't know. I mean, unfortunately, nobody wants to go to the present events, but in Oxford or Anniston, somewhere around there, I think the Lowe's, they actually had somebody go in and actually commit suicide right there on spot. And that's tough. At least, with all due respect, at least the individual took their life instead of taking the lives of others.
Right. Well, and that's understood. And I'm actually, the days of, and I guess how people say the flashlight cop. That's mostly all he can do is slide the flashlight on you or call the police. Those days now, it's because you need. I guess what I'm trying to say, you need somebody there before the police gets there, that maybe to de-escalate a situation.
Absolutely.
So, what would be the difference in your training than, say, for instance, another security guy or a guy just walking around with a flashlight? What would be the difference in the training?
We're all similar within some reason.
Right.
Sometimes the flashlight police officer, or you would call them a flashlight cop,
right.
are just basically there being a deterrence or being a presence.
Right.
And then also as a security officer, we're supposed to deter, we're supposed to observe, we're supposed to report any of the issues at hand. Right. Nobody has the right to take matters in their own hands unless something is happening. It's just like the force cannot exceed the force that's being given. If somebody shoots at me, I'm going to shoot back because I have to defend myself.
Absolutely.
But I also have to think about the liabilities that I'm going to face in regards to raising my firearms at an individual.
Right.
There's always repercussions. It's either live or die, but then again, you have to face the consequence of the law.
Right.
So you don't raise a weapon unless you really have to in the event of that.
Is the law stricter on the, I would say, officer than it is on the individual or the civilian person?
I think that would depend on the circumstance at hand.
And I think your military training, you know, I don't, for lack of a better word, profiling necessarily, but sometimes it's like what he says, it goes back to being situationally aware. You know, you don't know what you don't know. And I think a lot of people don't realize they even need security until after the event happens. And then it's like, oh, wow, you know, we just had an active shooter incident because, you know, somebody got fired. Or you have a situation where, like at a after school program for kids or something, you know, they were not doing anything particular at the program, but it was something that was across the street that was brought and kind of dropped at their door. You know what I mean? It's like situation beyond their control. They can't help that this happened on their property, but at the same notion, you don't know what you don't know, and people just think it can never happen to me. And then when it does happen, you know, you need somebody. I think being military owned and operated, the training.
Right.
I mean,
It's a little different.
you're not the average person out here walking around. You've
Right.
got to have that mindset and calm, cool, collected.
Now we had a shooting at one of the local schools, and the guy had the gun in. What could you have done, or what could have been done? Since one of the things they said was it was so many multiple interests that it just wasn't protected. What could have been done in a situation like that?
If you're going to have security, you need to make sure all the doors are either secured, or you need to have a roving patrol checking the perimeter of that property. One, you've got to have that presence. If they have a presence there, then you have a chance to deter the threat from even happening. Also, I mean, schools this day and age have magnetometers which catch whatever's coming in through their backpacks, or they have school resource officers who actually check their bags when they're coming in. Now, they lack the security on that because they don't see the threat, but the threat is real. Let's just be honest.
Absolutely.
I mean, Florida,
Absolutely.
that's got to be the worst one that's
Absolutely.
just happened within months ago. I'd say 4 months ago, 5 months ago.
Right before school was out.
And it's sad.
Yeah.
And something we've had to start at our church is, you know, people don't think you have to have security at churches, but
Looks like we do.
we do. And
Looks like we do.
you would think, well, gosh, that's the safest place in the world to be, but we, you know, have security at our church, and it's just unfortunate. But we also just did a big event, and over at Shoal Creek, a golf tournament where there was someone who had been stalking one of the young ladies and had followed her, you know, and of course having that facial recognition software, being able to pull up this and pull up that, and then go to the police and say, hey, this guy's here. Well, come to find out, he had abducted somebody, raped him, and spent 7 years in prison. And now here he is following this golf pro around.
Wow.
And so it's just watching body language, watching people. I mean, you think, man, we're here to have a good time. We do some of the lighting events where people are out there to memorialize their family and loved ones, but we have to do bag checks because unfortunately sometimes alcohol makes people violent or upset, so we have to check for, you know, it's
Drugs, alcohol,
yeah,
weapons,
guns,
Weapons.
knives.
Wow.
The places that she's talking about is the lights, and if you've ever seen it where the paper mache
They just
lanterns
did
go
one
up
in
in the sky
Birmingham.
where you light them up,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we provided security for at the first of the year.
Right.
And it's a great event because it is about memorials, but it's all about bringing the communities together. You know,
What about municipalities, local governments, things of that nature? Do you guys do any form of training? Because, you know, we tend to think politicians know the answer. They don't. So
it's sad to say it. They know everybody is naive until they know.
Right.
In regards to municipalities, we have not, but we would be more than welcome to do it.
So you guys would be able to provide
Oh,
training.
yes.
Let's say, for instance,
Yes.
you got people work for the city of Birmingham, and you know, it may be a department, finance department, say for instance. You would be able to give them, let's say, active shooter training,
Absolutely.
or what to do or what not to do. Because I just think that's important for people now, even in businesses or, you know, some companies, that you run your people through that type form of training. So I'm a Marine, so I kind of already got an idea of what I'm going to do if I see a guy, you know.
Absolutely.
But your normal civilian person does not have a clue. Panic is the first move.
It is.
Or they just freeze.
Or
They don't
freeze.
know.
Absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
they're not in a position to react, so they're frozen. And being a single woman, I certainly know that, I mean, how unsafe things can be, because
Absolutely.
I have a lot of male friends, and my cousins are military, and kind of grew up of you don't know what you don't know, and you're going to get in a situation. It's not if, it's when.
Right.
And it's
Right.
like when that happens, you need to be able to react quickly.
Absolutely.
You have a question. Do we need security wherever people gather, like large gatherings? And also, do you all have arrest powers?
We do not have arrest powers. Only people who have arrest powers is police themselves, law enforcement officers. If by chance we do a unlawful arrest,
The liability is
we're
crazy.
going to face some serious consequences on our own. So one, we can do events and we can do gatherings, and
Well, they're saying,
We
do we
suggested,
need
yes.
security?
I would suggest it absolutely.
I mean, look what happened in Oak Mountain. The guy died in his car, and had they had some roving security,
Right.
then maybe somebody would have found him.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, like, anywhere there's a mass group of, you don't know me, I don't know you, and we meet up in the park, who knows, you
Right.
know?
Well, my thing was just in here. I was just thinking about this, and I was just writing it down. Then we have the police to be reactionary. They're supposed to come after it happens.
Right.
We need to start being proactive, and I think that's where security would be important
Right,
instead of.
preventative.
Absolutely, it's kind of not. How we used to discount security, but now security is kind of been. It'll be the first thing. The first person that sees an active shooter.
First line of defense.
First line of
Look at
defense.
the affair that happened over in Center Point area.
Absolutely.
That all those kids got shot. Well, not a lot, but they had a shooting over there, mass
Yeah.
shooting kind of thing over there.
Yeah, but I mean,
I wasn't even
just
familiar with that.
and just sitting here
Yeah,
thinking about it.
last year.
I
Right?
think it
Or
was
yeah,
oh yeah,
2
the
years
carnival.
ago,
I
yeah, when
think.
it was,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
the
carnival. But just thinking about it now, it would just be logical to take it. I guess it would be security 2.0. Let's take it up a notch or two, because people now have to be almost military trained, if you will.
Absolutely.
And that's in civilian world. So
Right.
I mean, it's just something to think
And
about.
we did the reserve at Jacksonville before it got blew away.
Right.
And most of it was
By a
just
tornado in March.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that was
It was horrible.
But a lot of the stuff there was, a lot of drunkenness, a lot of kids hanging out Friday night, Saturday night, and it was just preventative.
Absolutely.
Controlling the situation, calming things, de-escalating.
Right. And since people are here, if they want to contact you guys about the services, because I just think that the classes and seminars and things of that nature would be cool. So can y'all give them information while everybody's watching?
You can contact us at Patriot Services Group, INT, like Tom.com. So Patriot Services Group, INT.com. Or you can call our 1-800 number, 1-800-281-3775.
And we do also we're able to come in and do the active shooter training for employers who
Absolutely.
are wanting it for their,
Absolutely.
Preparation.
employees and
And that's
preparing
what
them.
I definitely think that's important. And I was saying that for a reason, for municipalities, Bessemer, Fairfield, Hoover, all over, all municipalities. Active shooter training, I just really believe should be implemented. Where people can know how to react.
So is it affordable for schools?
We don't do schools right now. I mean,
Okay.
if by chance there was a need, we would figure it out. But right now we don't do it because, for one, the counties, the cities, they all have school resource officers. Those
Right.
that can't afford that type of service,
Right.
we'll figure out something the best way we can. But we can't do it for free because, unfortunately, you got to have operational costs
Right.
to keep your security officers employed.
Invest more into education. This guy, I was thinking about that when I was driving here, but I don't see how one officer can secure 1,200 people. You're expecting a resource guy to walk around the schools, one guy, and you got all these students.
Then the
everywhere.
security
And-
used to be like 1 per 400 or 500 or something
Well,
like that.
my kids went to
I don't know.
Vestavia, and there was 2,000 kids there, one guy, and
that's
multiple
nice.
levels. You got a 3-level school there, and it was just crazy because I'm sitting there going, you got one man, and usually he sits outside in his car, or he stands inside in the foyer, or something of that nature. But he's got to go to the bathroom. He's got to go to lunch.
Right.
That never made sense to me. One person in a
Yeah,
school
like the
with
school
multiple
shooting,
thousand.
the one they called a coward because he was outside or something when the school shooting was happening. He
Yeah,
didn't
he
go in there
did.
or something.
He
Behind the
froze,
thing.
which is sad to have to say it like that.
Yeah.
But he froze.
Let me read this. This is a firefighter here, and the name is Diana Woods. Shame I got Fred's appetite glasses. As a first responder, we have we have been following a trend in active shooter incidents around the country. We know that prior to someone creating an active shooter incident, there are individuals that know this person and their intentions. How do you feel about offering an award to any person that would contribute to the apprehension of this person prior to committing the crime? This can also be a part of the first line of defense.
I could agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, knowledge is power. We talked about this before we even got on the air. But if you don't know, you're not going to know.
There's nothing you can do about
And I'll be straight with you. Nobody calls us unless they have a need. I can
Absolutely.
solicit everybody all day long, and I called a lot of people when I first started the company almost 2 years ago.
Right.
And it was a struggle.
Right.
And you got to come up with new ways to get yourself out there.
Right.
And we have a great marketing professional. His name is Matt Johnson. He's our CTO, which is Chief Technical Officer, or
Right.
Technological Officer, with Patriot Services Group, who has put us on the map.
Gotcha.
Had I started the company on my own, we never would have been here.
Yeah.
But I get calls from New York, I get calls from California, I get calls from Miami.
Wow.
That's who we do business with. They're outsiders who need protection within the state,
Absolutely.
and that's what we do.
And that's amazing because again, the focus. We only do it when it's like a news story or something.
That's right.
We only start focusing on security or thinking about school shootings or our children's safety in schools when it's the story or the topic of the week. But I think security should be addressed every day. It's major. That's why when Teresa sent it to me, I was glad to do it because security is important.
Indeed.
You say you got active, Anne Marie Brown said active training shooter is available through UAB and other public safety institutions. You know about that?
That's up to them to teach. I mean,
Yeah.
UAB has their own department. They
Yeah,
have their own
that's what
security
they were
department
saying.
also.
Yeah, they got a police department also.
And I tried to
My daughter
contact them
goes
thinking
to
that I could get my
UAB.
foot in the door, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, they're rough on individuals. I don't know why people dread entrepreneurship.
They say, how much do you charge for active duty training for municipalities?
Why don't she call it? You know what I mean? Don't ask nobody for money over the.
It all depends on the situation.
Yeah,
I mean, we
call
try to design a program to fit everybody's needs.
Some Jews would do.
Anne Marie, we'll give you we'll put Bill's information out. Patriot
Absolutely.
Services Group.
Yeah.
And they'll put that because right now you haven't done municipalities, but you
We
will.
have not done it.
No, and that's what the purpose was, to actually give them the idea of it. That's what we do, make you think about
And the
it.
other places is like the hotels and hospitalities that's doing all these
Absolutely.
events.
Absolutely.
People have called us about birthday parties, weddings, whatever. Nothing's too small, nothing's too big.
And really, I just want to be ahead of the game because we don't want Birmingham to be reactionary. You're getting ready to build a stadium. You're going to start bringing in more people. You're going to be doing a lot of different things that are going to attract a lot of different kind of people. So if we're already ahead of the game,
Get it 2020, 21.
absolutely,
games are
absolutely.
coming.
So there's no
And my
need
daughter
to
goes
stop.
to UAB, so
Yeah.
I get that, but their police department is small. But
Yeah.
it is UAB's police department. So if
And
you're
they're good with-
outside
they're good
and
with
you're in
what they do.
Birmingham,
Right.
they're really great at what they do, but they're limited.
I just don't want the police to have to do everything. Again, if we have the way of being at
Knowledge is
least
power.
a deterrent
Absolutely.
until the guy that can actually arrest you gets there, then why not? The person has been trained. That's what it's for. It's like me. I'm trained. I can deter you if I need to.
Right.
But
But you have to face the consequences.
but it'll be consequences. But I'm
Right.
actually probably defending myself and the people around me.
Absolutely.
So I just think that would be cool, like city employees, municipalities, something to think about, the mayors or anybody's watching.
And you
Just
have a
something to
couple
think about.
comments over here from Anne Marie.
Go
I
ahead.
think that no, I'm just saying when you get a chance after the show or anything like that, just because she got questions about it, and I think that she's a long time listener.
She was a police, I think, also.
Anne Marie, what were you?
I think she was a police officer.
Not a police
I'm
officer. It was something else. I thought it was
First
something different.
responder,
Yeah,
First
first
responder
either one the
is
same. Yeah, it's,
fire,
yeah.
paramedics, or police.
But
But-
she's very knowledgeable in what she.
But think about it. It's just like when they have people like on certain jobs, you have to be CPR qualified.
And
We
are.
do that, and we do training in that
Absolutely.
as well.
So
So what made you start this? Like, why security?
Well, the security is one, just because it's something of my passion. I wanted to do this for 25 plus years, but I couldn't do it because I couldn't afford to do so. That's a great question, near and dear to my heart. I can just get to the point.
Absolutely.
I named Patriot Services Group based on my family heritage of being in the United States Navy military. My dad was a Coast Guardman. My dad was a Navyman. My dad was an Air Forceman. He passed away almost 2 years ago, and being that we're all patriots, I named it Patriot Services Group. Now, just because an individual names your company that doesn't mean you're going to get somebody knocking on your door or even answering a call or giving you the opportunity.
Right.
But being that we are military members and we are all patriots, the United States of America is built on patriots.
Yeah.
You don't have to be wearing a uniform, but it's nice to wear one.
Absolutely.
Our motto is we protect our country. Now it's time to protect our communities. And that's what we stand to do.
She was a crime prevention officer.
Crime prevention.
I never heard of that before.
Okay.
What exactly is a crime prevention officer?
Well, I
She
know-
could be a security officer,
Yeah.
or she could be a higher grade,
higher
in,
grade.
in the police department as
She knows the
Community.
things like when
I mean,
conversations
she's
she
a great
had.
knowledge.
She's
Right.
she knows.
well, I'd
she
love
is.
to interact with her.
Yeah,
I believe
great.
that's why I was saying you can.
She can shoot me an email
She because
at
she definitely knows where
wprosser
she's
at
yeah.
Patriot Services Group,
Yeah.
int.com.
Yeah.
That's wprosser
We'll get it put
at Patriot Services Group, int.com.
Yeah.
It'll
I
be
welcome
on
your
there.
comments,
And
and I
we-
look forward to earning your business.
Yeah, call with questions, concerns,
Absolutely.
anything, because
Absolutely.
I'm VP of operations, so basically my job is just to handle a lot of stuff, and his job is to tell me what to do. So,
Now, how did you get in security? What made you?
You could tell them a story about your realtor friend, unfortunately.
I knew that question was coming. My background is new construction real estate, and about 25 years ago, there was a realtor, and she was kidnapped and murdered, raped and murdered, and so we came out with codes. And this is just a free bit of advice. When we were going to show a house, if you had a problem, you would say Amy Green. That was her name, and I was privileged enough to be very, very early in my real estate career to learn and see some not so nice things happen. And when we came out with the laws, the 10 rules of agent safety, I was like, this needs to happen. And it got national, and we like I said, my family has a lot of military. I have cousins that's Army, police, Army, Navy, and Navy SEAL. So I grew up with you don't know what you don't know, and be situationally aware, know your surroundings. The best defense sometimes is offense. Know where you're going, know what you're doing. And when real estate, went slow or whatever, Walmart Corp hired me on their remodel. Go Walmart to Walmart. They got blew away or tore down or building a new one. My construction background helped me there. So I saw what they did, and they showed a 15-minute video that literally, it's a movie. We've been so desensitized by criminal minds and law and order and SVUs that we don't really know what to do. Watching a video is watching a video, and we're not sensitive to things anymore. But Bill and I actually met at church, and he, had just started this company, or had you just started it? And anyways, of course, my background being real estate, I knew about real estate and stuff like that, marketing, managing, and getting things out there. And so contract negotiations, stuff of that nature. So that's originally I just came on kind of like as an administrative assistant person.
I had to
But
review my contracts before I put through the bid.
Right.
if anything is in there for
either
you,
was
let me
gonna
know
get
and
or
we'll
not
take it
get.
out.
Right.
And so I started off just doing administrative work, and then I said, well, I may get a call and someone may not be available or something. So I went and got trained, and I had to qualify and shoot and.
Oh,
learn
you
to
shoot
do
pretty good?
Go ahead and tell them.
You got it tell.
I'm 94% on a 40.
Ooh.
So I do
Ooh.
okay.
Hands up!
So I know people would joke around and they're like, "You're the perfect security guard because no one would think."
Would think,
Yeah.
right.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and like with the situation, we're a very national company. They were still national at the time. I think they're international now, but they called us, and we do have NDAs where if you don't want us to disclose it, we won't disclose it. But they called, and they were coming to Birmingham to fire some people. The guy was like, "You're perfect," because I just walk in the business clothes. You never know I'm packing, and it just
Right.
is what it is. And
It's incredible that they need that. You see what I'm saying, man?
The
How
best-
incredible that is.
But the best thing is sometimes you smile and you just,
yeah.
you know,
yeah.
and our main thing is to get the asset out. So like when this guy was leaving, our job is to get him from point A to point B without anybody shooting him. And of course, all the employees left earlier, so they could have went to their car, got their guns or whatever. And in fact, that's what the other active shooter had done.
Absolutely.
And our main goal is just get them to where they need to be.
No, because a lot of times CEOs will have a different entrance,
Absolutely.
or they would. Because I worked at a bank and I was the technical guy for that. Our group, we supported the CEO and his immediate staff.
Mm-hmm.
There were certain things we couldn't do. There were certain ways we had to be. It would be surprising. When he eventually rode on the same elevator as everybody else, he would talk to me and people would look like, who am I? Like, who is he talking to me? Why is he talking to me? But
Right.
those are, man, you would be. I understand the asset what you're saying because it's a different movement. Man.
So you're like a female Kevin Costner. You know, like the bodyguard. You know, Whitney
That's
Houston.
a
Yeah.
different
That's what he was
movement.
a
Yeah, no
security
joke, man.
guy,
That's a
right?
different movement, man.
But
He was okay, I'm showing my age. I did say bodyguard.
But-
Oh, I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Kevin
cool.
Costner?
Yeah.
well, and
yeah.
I did have one guy ask me the question. He's like, I can't remember how he said it. It was something about like, who's the best shot in your company? And I was like, well, I don't really actually know the answer to that. And he was like, well, I'd want you if you're a good shot.
I mean, 94%. What's your favorite weapon?
I don't know. I've had 380s, 9mm, 40 cals, 357, but I kind of like the 40. But then I'm okay with a Glock. I mean,
Fort Crown. Colt
pretty
45?
well. I
That's a
pretty
big
much like
That's a big one.
I pretty much like them to work.
Yeah, that's all you do.
There it is.
Do you break down and clean yourself? You clean them yourself?
I can. I have.
You got the kit?
I do not.
You got the kit? Oh, okay. I'm just checking. You know.
But I can.
Where we get
And I have.
where we actually shoot is Double Tap Training Grounds right there in Calera, Alabama.
Uh-huh.
It's
Gotcha,
right off of
gotcha.
I-65 and 25, and they have their own cleaning stations. So
Oh,
when we
okay.
go
Yeah,
and
so we
practice
can-
or
You
whatever,
just
we
Yeah.
can go clean it and everything.
It's just a Marine.
So that's a
I mean,
shameless
you know,
plug
it-
for
And-
one
our
thing,
friends.
one thing about a Marine, you know, we clean our own weapon. And it's like, this is your job. You take care of it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just a
Full
habit.
metal jacket.
Yeah,
This is my rifle. This is my gun.
Yeah.
So when you go, do your clients come from California and New York, or do you go
All
there?
over.
Some of them
Oh,
do. Some
yeah.
of them contract us out of state, and then of course we assist wherever the problem
So
is.
how in New York, do you have to go through certain things to get a gun to be able to carry it? 'Cause
we
you
don't go
can't
to New
get it.
York.
Okay,
They
that's right.
contact us out of state to do the work
They
for
come.
them.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Gotcha.
what I want to know.
Gotcha.
I didn't know if you all went there as well, kind of thing.
Our
We're
goal
working on
is to go
expanding.
nationwide.
Yeah, okay.
And right now we're here in Alabama, but we're trying to do Southeast and then Virginia.
Right.
And so
When you
that's-
guys blow up, don't forget about us little guys.
Don't worry, we won't.
Y'all keep us in mind. You know, us little people.
Well, I can't shoot a gun.
You
So that's probably why you need one somebody like me.
Absolutely.
I was a little different when I was young. I told him, "Get me out of this. I won't never touch another gun."
The guy that was riding with the jewelry in there, he said, what? I just forgot what I was going to say. Never mind.
But that's okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
with the jewelry.
Yes, he made the similar statement about kind of like what you're saying. I said, do you feel safe? He said, I do feel safe. I said, okay, that's all that matters.
Hey, I enjoy shooting.
We're
though.
carrying
It's
about
like
$2 million worth of jewelry in these vehicles that we're
Whoa.
transporting
Sometimes
these folks.
more,
So
sometimes less.
we don't talk about the movements. We don't tell them who they are or whatever.
We're
Absolutely.
plain dress. We can do. We do have uniforms where we can go to events and security and all that proper stuff, and then we have other events that.
My question is, how do you sleep the night before?
And
What do you mean? Go to bed.
You getting ready to carry $2 million of jewelry?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, no nervousness or no butterflies, nothing.
Just part of
No.
the job.
That's because you know what to do if something happens. I guess that's a different
Trained,
way
yeah.
of.
I was
It's all
gonna
about
say-
safety first, but being
Absolutely.
aware of your
I think that-
situations, your surroundings.
What was
Yeah.
it? $56,000 emerald was the largest piece that we got to carry.
About like that.
56,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you just go to sleep.
Again, everybody, this is Patriot Services, and you know, we were kind of, it's a security company, professional services company, but it was something that also we wanted to make sure that people listen to and make you think about, you know, how needed security really is. We take it for granted. We really take it for granted. And we think that the police is supposed to do everything. Well, no. I I mean, that's why we have the Navy. The Navy used to take us where we had to go, and we were the Marines. It's all a purpose. It's a purpose. So if we have security officers or even people that are trained, work for companies that are trained and understand what to do, it saves lives.
I mean, I like the fact that, like you say, that church. When I go to churches, sometimes I rarely now do I go to large churches, and I know I'm not. You're supposed to have faith and all that, but
just kinda,
I don't carry pistols, and I mean that's known about me. But to sit in all large crowds, it kind of get to me because what happens if because a lot of times you can tell there's no security, or you know, I know planes have security, but you don't have security like in large events.
And you got me rethinking something. But I do a lot of concerts, so why wouldn't I hire plain clothes guy that's just walking around?
Oh man, we got their face on camera now.
Hey, that's all right. We got
y'all got to throw away the mask on the interview.
We got other people to do the work for us.
Right, but then that makes sense.
Well, it's funny that you should say that because
no, you're right. No, you're right.
Are you talking about the other one that we just did?
No. We do also, when you're talking about private security, things like that, like concerts, or events, book signings, things like that.
Book signings?
Or different kind of things.
There's an opportunity there. Not that we have a book, but we're going to end up
no, I'm just saying, book signings, you got to have
somebody.
security at book signings.
But you never know what
you don't
person...
know. You don't get somebody to latte
The
on
threat is
time.
real.
Looks at me.
The threat is real.
But
it's
a celebrity. You never know who's stalking who or whatever. And
it's safety first.
Safety first. And one of the things is sometimes we do have to protect people that are celebrities.
Celebrities, right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You wouldn't think comedy club.
You're right.
I mean, you're supposed to go there and laugh.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying. It's so uneasy, man.
But just think about this. And I'm thinking this from an entrepreneur standpoint now. Think about the insurance and the liability we would save ourselves.
Yeah.
Because nobody even knew we had security in that whole time.
We take care of the liability.
You take care of
We have all that.
We have all the insurance.
People, you gotta.
I guess I can be straight. I'll just say it. Liability, we have $1 million starting off, and then $3 million general aggregate, and then we have $1 million and some change for all of our vehicles and anybody else that operates it under our entity, and then we have workman's comp. Of course, that's what everybody should.
I mean, because we're going to do shows and different events coming up. We're coming up on our year. We're going to have an event coming up soon,
And that's what we were just going to say is there's a celebrity who's coming to Birmingham, and we've been contacted by someone here locally that basically just said, hey, we need 4 people or 6 people that may need to travel, from here to here to here with this particular person. Right. And of course, we can't say who it is, but it's those kind of things. You just...
Yeah. And again, even with the hospitals, I'm thinking about them. They have security guards. That's no war. Mm-hmm. But why we ain't got somebody walking around that looks like, maybe doctor or something that got their scrubs on, but he basically is just roaming that area. That's all they do.
No, because my mom, she was in charge nurse, and she was in emergency. Back when, remember gangs used to come and shoot up the emergency room?
Absolutely.
And she was like, man, it's amazing the bloodshed that they were coming, because they didn't care who was there.
Exactly.
If they wanted that person, they were going to get them.
But I mean, that was just, you got me thinking all kind of, because it's needed.
I mean, people don't realize it until it's brought to the forefront of their mind.
Right.
Or unfortunately, unless there's a situation that's presented itself.
Right.
But any kind of event, I mean, I hate to say it, them family reunions, some people need some security
for
there.
municipal,
Jesus,
like the assistants that work with the city councilman or so like that, they need to be trained.
They should be trained. Like Corey, good idea, Corey. Why wouldn't Corey should be able to spot? Yeah, or say for instance he's out somewhere and he needs to make a quick defensive move right there.
Yeah, because city councilmen, they're focused on that message.
Absolutely.
The people around them actually be around them more than their spouses a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's absolutely. Like with the recent election, politicians, it was
it gets a little.
They need security.
Well, we had a forum that needed security. I wish we'd have knew him then.
You didn't know what?
we had a forum. We probably needed security. It got a little heated,
Oh, a forum.
Yeah, a forum. We had a forum inside.
It was
the
a
church.
conversation.
And when I tell you, it's like,
You're
oh
like,
my
God.
Hey, we both need to break it up a little bit. If it continues, I'm going to have to call the police department. But
So-
I'm going to do it.
It's like,
So next time we have a forum, just know Patriot services will be there to deter you.
It was like I had to tell someone one day. I said, "I'm gonna call the police, but it's for your safety."
Yeah, absolutely.
I do have one last thing, if it's okay.
Sure.
Just recently, we provided security for an event who actually was against the NRA. But we had to provide unarmed security officers because they're against the NRA. You can't provide weapons for this event.
Right.
So, and it was held at a local church in Birmingham.
So you unarmed, you got to go.
And all we did was we did bag checks and we frisked the people
It was at
basically.
the,
We patted them down.
You guys
Gotcha.
probably heard of that one. That was at Highland.
I think so. I heard about that. Yeah.
School.
Absolutely.
And so we
when they had the students, is that the one with the students?
that's the one last week. Yeah.
Okay.
So we sent two people over there, and
They did a really good job,
You're
and we
pretty
actually got
reputable guy. I mean,
applause.
they got that because the Parkland students were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who would have think again? And I'm glad this is after the fact, you guys. So, but they needed security. Isn't that incredible? Those kids needed security.
and
They
most
get
of
death
it
threats
was.
anytime.
You see what I'm saying?
Most of it
That's
was
incredible.
searching bags
Incredible.
and pat downs, because you got kids from all over coming together.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got junior high schools and elementary they be bringing guns. They, a lot of times they don't really know what they are, but they'll see with their parents and bring them in.
Yeah.
A lot of these places need it now.
Incredible though. Security is very important.
And the one thing that people hadn't thought about, daycare centers.
Yeah.
Because
Daycare
they don't have a lot of, and this is only, again, through my recent experiences, it was a custody battle, and the lawyers,
there it is.
it was a custody battle, and dad comes to pick up the child, and it wasn't dad's day or whatever, you know what I mean? It's just weird, you just don't know.
But I think it would be pretty cool if a couple of the daycare, like the teachers of the daycare were trained by you and they walk around like nothing's happening, and all of a sudden you're
The
in a
active
chokehold.
shooter.
This guy, he up against the wall.
You know what? We were on a theater cruise once.
Teach the children that.
And the people, they saw me bring the kids in with my wife and went back, and I didn't get the password. But I went back to get the kids for the night.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm coming to get my boys, gave them their names. They pulled it up on the screen. I'm looking at it. I'm right here. They said, okay, what's the password? That's me. See, look, me.
Yeah.
What's the password? And by that time, I started seeing people move toward me. I said, hey, I'll go get the password. Because it's no security, man. No.
Yeah, I like
And then
that.
think about
that's what you need.
a lot of sporting events.
Yeah.
that
Absolutely.
People,
Absolutely.
I was talking with you about Jerry and Bob. He does a lot of sporting events, and he was saying how even those guys are needing security. And you're
Well, we
thinking,
got
like,
soccer and football and
I'm just saying,
coming here.
I mean, just like here at Legion Field, man, we still gonna have the mayor up there. We're gonna have a lot of dignitaries that be up top.
You got the
You know what I
classic,
mean?
you got
got
the
the
classic
classic.
October,
Even
yeah.
though there's no knock on who's working downstairs on the elevator, but somebody who's trained to get by you can get by you. They just need a ticket.
especially if they're more knowledgeable. Say like
of the situation.
You and I being military members.
Absolutely, we're gonna
we
study.
can get past somebody a lot faster than somebody else.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah. But we'll start wrapping this thing up. Want to do soapbox? Both of them got the soapbox.
Both, okay. What we do at the end of every show, we ask you to give us a soapbox. It's 3 to 5 minutes of you cleansing this dirty, dirty world.
Whatever your
Whatever
topic
your
is,
topic
if it's your
is, it
business,
can be-
whatever you want it to be.
3 to 5 minutes.
I got a
of
bit of an imagination. You better narrow it down.
3-5 minutes.
actually,
on
she
you?
can take my minutes also.
No.
We're just leaving people with something. Why is security important? Have you thought about this kind of thing? Whatever you want to leave. This
Whatever's
is-
near and dear to you.
You go first.
No, really.
You're the owner.
Security, I mean, we've all talked about how paramount and how important it was. And if you don't have security in place wherever you are, it's better to put it in place and think about it before not doing it at all. I'm not a talker that much. If we can help you, please just give us a call. I mean, that's what it's all about. Safety first, and just protect yourself, your loved ones, and your family members. I mean, family first before anything else, and of course then your co-workers and everybody else. But there's always a threat. You have to be situationally aware and just know what's going on. Just be watchful and be vigilant at the same time.
Right.
You can tell you can tell a guy that's probably can do all the training and the moves and everything because they don't never talk much. You ever notice that? They never want to talk much.
This is Bill Process.
I know, right? But get in a situation, oh boy, you got to watch Bill.
And Teresa.
Now, what was the question again?
Whatever you want, whatever you want to do.
You narrow it down.
I'll just follow his lead. I think that we don't know what we don't know, and I know people might say, well, security is, maybe I can't afford it right now, but really, after a situation happens, you think about how much it cost you. The shooting at Lowe's, they were shut down a day and a half.
Wow.
And I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, think about how much money they lost in a day and a half's business. And so when you think, like, I can't afford it, how can you afford not to? And I think an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, so to speak. So anytime you're in the preventative, I think it serves itself, and I probably just want to say thank you to the militaries that have served our country and the veterans, and I think that they're not appreciated enough and people don't know what they go through. I think also this is helpful to the public just to make people aware. Now, I'm huge into charities, James, you know that, and I do a lot of work for nonprofits and have written some grants and things of that nature. My main thing is I think everybody needs to know. I'm a mom, I have a daughter, I have a son, and I have them working in this business. My daughter, she's 19 and goes to UAB. She's studying to be a physicist. So, and she double majors in physics and mathematics. My son, he does a lot of this stuff. And I'm telling you, they watch things like a hawk, and you wouldn't believe how these young people just think they're invincible and that nothing bad could ever happen. And you see, and it's like I tell my daughter all the time, I don't need a text, I need to hear your voice. Because anybody could be sending me a text,
Absolutely.
You've got to know, you've got to be aware. So I think my main thing is just, you don't know what you don't know until it's too late. So let us help you, let us help you get to the point where you can be at least knowledgeable.
And what's your company again?
Patriot Services Group.
And how can they reach you? What number?
1-800-281-3775.
And what's the website?
www.patriotsservicesgroupint.com.
And we'll put it out there on the site. Not too long.
Yeah, she put it on. Actually, she's.
And just contact us, email, call us. We'll answer your questions.
One of the firefighters from Virginia Beach said that they needed your services out there, but you'll see that on the page, so you can
Dana?
kind of contact them.
Yeah, I grew up with Dana. He used to be one of my best friends.
Cool. I kind of did my soapbox already kind of earlier. Again, and I'll say this, what happened with Pastor Van and the president should be seen as an opportunity. And that's how I look at it. Some things happen for opportunities, which means that we had leadership. Oh, and that was a funny thing. They said he was an inner city pastor.
You know what inner city is? The Boutwell, City Hall. That's inner city.
I was like, it's just a caller, right? But anyway,
all different descriptions.
I didn't get the inner city thing, but again,
Yes, you did.
That was a lie, right? A lie is a lie. Okay, all right.
It's a racist dog whistle is what it is.
Yeah.
Continue, please.
What'd you call it again?
It's a racist dog whistle.
Oh my God, a racist dog whistle. I never heard of that. Julia always has something I've never heard of. But anyway, like hyperfeminism.
That was something you made up. I did not make that up.
But again, it's
two people.
I know, man. Us people, man. It's about coming together. And again, we're going to pull the clergy, and I hope some of you guys are listening and watching. Please email me, or if I don't contact you, please email me. But we're going to try to get to everybody. I don't want this to be exclusive about the pastor who has the most members. I want everybody. It's time for us to talk.
Yeah, they knocked
as a
Van Moody
family.
about that. They said he only had like 5,000 members. These other preachers had a lot more.
God, man,
They even hit him on
it's
that.
even
I'm like,
competition in that. That's incredible. But anyway, it should be way more saved folks than what it is than with all these churches we got right
Agreed.
now. You know what I mean? It should be, baby. We should be walking with angels right now. But it's time for us to talk, and it's really time to listen, because what I'm learning about preachers and how religion as in itself is being taken now. It's not an applied science. It's just something that we do, and it's not a part of your lifestyle. You do it out of a tradition, as you say. We go to church, we really don't hear the word. We get entertained and we listen to choir. Well, the job of us as Christians is to apply it out in the real world, and I think that's where we're missing this thing. So I want to get with the pastors. You ain't got to wear your suit. You know, do like me, man. Come on in your normal clothes. Sit down with some normal people, activists. It's going to be a controlled narrative. I don't believe in all that yelling and getting that emotional to where you don't get the point across. So we're going to make sure that the point is across.
Will you be in security?
Yes,
Definitely going to need security.
it was security will be there.
Security will be there, but
Very quickly, and this has probably been my last soapbox for a while. You want us to see something, say something. Birmingham is almost at 70 murders today, and you haven't said one word. Now, I'm not going to say, am I talking to the mayor or am I talking to the police chief? You figure it out. But somebody needs to see something. They see something because it's almost 70 murders, but nobody is saying something. We're not saying give us your plan. Just say we acknowledge what's going on, be patient with us, because there are people like me that really want to know, right? That's all we're asking. We're not asking for your plan. We believe in the process. You got a process, it's going to work. Okay. But at least acknowledge that there's a problem going on. We want to see the leadership. That's all it is to it. That's all we're asking. No, nothing more, nothing less. There should not be almost 70 murders in Birmingham, Alabama.
in August.
The way everybody knows each other in this city,
In August.
you should. I mean, this is a small, big town, I guess you can say. But just say something. Acknowledge that there's an issue going on. We're fighting about a Shell gas station. We're fighting about all these other issues. Say, we understand there's a problem in Birmingham. I'll be done with it. I don't want to hear about any other thing going on, any new groups, anything like that. Acknowledge there's a problem with this gun violence. Now we can't even say black on black crime because that's a white supremacist statement. That's to divide the people.
Who said that?
That's what's been said. I put out there about what stops murder. I said love and a job will stop it. Well, that's lack of poverty. Poverty causes murders. And I said, okay, if everybody gave $1 million, then no, they'll be stealing and murdering then. So broke does poverty, and $1 million will cause murders. I mean, I'm getting it.
You know, I heard something that was a really cool statement. Some people major in murders.
Exactly.
So I don't care what solution you give, they're gonna dissect it until something is
To
wrong.
something.
People's minds control everything.
Yep.
If I am seeking fault, it's easy to find fault because nobody's perfect. If I'm seeking perfection, then that means I'm gonna take your fault and I'm gonna try to help you make it better. So if a person is upset with you because of what you said or how you feel about what you said, even if it's a fault, if they don't help you fix it, then it only hurt you. Right?
Exactly.
And I think that's what we have to do.
And that's the point. We can't communicate. Either poor is causing crime, or if you give money, it still won't. I mean, where do we got to start somewhere. And if I say black on black crime, it's because if this guy kills that guy and they're both black, it's black on black.
I'm not
White
trying to,
on white happens, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm a black man. Never proclaimed to be anything else. I can't tell you how a white man feels. Understand? But look at the numbers. In Birmingham, out of those almost 70 murders, how many was it white on white? There's a very, very small percentage.
What those guys, the last couple that was found, because this one bothered me, about his 9-year-old child, found the police, and the parents were 60, or the grandparents, or however they name was 62 years old, shot in their home.
That's what we're saying.
A husband and wife.
I don't care what
Why
color
they ain't
it
addressing
is.
that?
That's what I'm
Why they ain't
saying.
addressing that?
I don't care the color. I care about the solution. You understand? I've been told I only say stuff because I want to be elected in a public office. If you only know how far off you are. I've been doing this since a teenager, since I stopped carrying guns.
They kind of making you right, though. You
Well,
know,
maybe I should run.
No. What I'm saying is they're kind of making you right, because if you look at the murders that's happening, and in the communities that it's happening, it kind of want to make you say, well, since it's happening in these communities, it's not important. And it's kind of hard not to say that because, just like you said, nobody's saying anything.
How many are happening in Mountain Brook, Vestavia, Hoover? I went and looked at Coleman, Alabama, because somebody told me, well, what about Coleman, Alabama? I guarantee it's more white on white. I looked up Coleman. It's one of the safest cities in the state.
Safest cities.
All I'm saying is, we need security. Maybe, again, I said is we need to all sit down and say, it's broken. Let's take color out. Let's take Republican out. Let's take Democrat out. We got security here. They're saying you need security for daycares.
Whoa.
Daycares, because parents who co-parent don't always get along.
That's true.
I know, because my kids, you got to be bashed in their school. And one of the things they said, if you're co-parenting, you all need to let us know on day one who can pick your children up.
Yeah.
And these teachers, they know the cars. When they see the car, they already on the thing. Hey, can you get such and such to the car? It's broke. The system is broke. Let's fix it. We got security professionals here. We got politicians. James want clergymen
Gotta see them.
and
I
the
gotta
community.
see 'em.
So everybody get together and say, let's put focus on it.
I gotta see.
That's all I'm asking. I don't care about all this other stuff anymore. Matter of fact, you're going to see less and less of me in the month of August and for the rest of the year, because I got plans I'm getting ready to do. But I'm saying that because
We don't care that we don't see money. He think he gonna work. He's alive. I heard that. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? Oh, he over there talking about he ain't gonna be here? He's alive.
no,
He got
I'm
something.
gonna show up on Sunday
Oh yeah, I got
like a
something.
vampire.
Don't
But
worry
anyway,
about it. I'm gonna leave on that note.
As normal.
Thank y'all. Bye bye. We'll see y'all later.
Contact us look at us at YouTube, Facebook Live and group at Not Necessarily Political with Jane Williams and Lonnie Malone. On Instagram at Not Necessarily Political, and Twitter, what do you think it is?
Not necessarily.
At Necessarily Not on Twitter.
I thought you were gonna say first one to get it.
And Necessarily Not on Twitter. If you want to come on the show, email us with your questions, issues, concerns. When you want to come on, give us 3 dates, because our show tends to fill up pretty quickly like it is now. At notnecessarily@gmail.com. That's all you have to do. Just give us some dates and what do you want to talk about, so we can kind of prepare as well. As usual, we thank y'all for going with us. Thank you for checking in on us on Saturdays and Sundays. We're going to start doing some Saturday shows as well. Thanks again. We'll see you next